Yo, what's up, guys? Welcome back to Sobriety University. Today we got an awesome one today. We're gonna be doing a testimonial with my good friend now, Trevor. Trevor, you came to me, man. It's been like a year and a half now when we first met. Um, but you kind of took some time where we did some coaching, and then you stopped, and then in the last few months, you came back, really kind of committed to getting sober. So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and what your background is?
So my name's Trevor. I'm from Nebraska, and I kind of started smoking weed right out of high school. So me and my friends, we had a group of basically all stoners. So we would all smoke together. But I wanted to, break out of that and get sober, and I found it difficult to do that while still with that same friend group. So it took a while, but really I wanted to improve my career, fitness, and all other aspects of my life. So that was really what motivated me to want to make that change.
Nice, nice. And we'll cover a little bit more of that, kind of some of the long-term goals and how that pertains to getting sober. Trevor did want to remain faceless, so you guys are aware. So this one might be a better like listen, more audio podcast. But very cool. So, what made you decide to want to quit weed and reach out for some help?
So I'm pretty ambitious, and so I just have lofty goals that I want to achieve in all aspects of my life. More specifically, though, career and fitness. And I was finding it hard to really excel and go all in on succeeding in those areas of my life while still having the secret of smoking weed every day. And really, I mean, I'm sure many people experience this, but I had tried quitting several times for months, and it just felt impossible. Like, that's
Mhm.
addiction. It just had a grasp on me that no matter how much I try, I'd make promises to myself and then the next day break them. So I knew that, I had to do something drastic to pull me out of this. I wasn't going to be able to do it by myself. And I came across Joel's channel, and I had been watching him for a few months. And finally, one day, it was actually a breakup that led me to make the decision. Okay, this is it. It's time. So that was when, immediately after the breakup, like the very next day, I sent an email to Joel and began coaching soon after.
That's right, man. I completely forgot about that. That was the breakup. Yeah, that was, a lot of times pain is can be what leads us to growth. So, if you're going through something painful, like I always recommend to use it as an opportunity to really dive into your, things that you want to work on. I think a breakup is a painful one, but it's a great motivator as well. So, had you tried to get sober before? Like, what was your experience with that?
So prior to that breakup, for still several months, I wanted to be sober just because I wanted to improve in my fitness, improve in my career. So I had been trying to get sober. Um, I personally am someone that struggles with moderation. So I would go through phases where I would say, okay, I'm just going to reduce my usage. I'll only smoke this amount, or I'll only smoke on these days. And I would try that, but pretty much my mind would just make excuses like, oh, you can't moderate. Let's just give up on this. We'll quit cold turkey tomorrow and smoke tonight. Examples like that would happen all the time, where my mind would find ways to justify me using, and then will make the tough decision at a later date. And then that
Mm.
date never really ended up coming. So, yeah, I just felt stuck in that cycle of trying to quit, making promises to myself, and then breaking them. And I think that's really the hardest part. Not even necessarily the using weed, but the constantly saying I'm going to do something and then breaking my own promise, and then how that
Mm.
really affects your self-esteem and your self-worth and your image of yourself. All of that. It's almost worse than the actual weed.
Do you feel like you were kind of, sounds like you were feeling like you were losing trust in yourself as a person per se, almost.
Yep, exactly. When just breaking your own promise over and over again, and then
Hmm.
even outside of that, it affects the other areas of your life. So, say I'm going to begin working out this amount of times a week, but then when you're smoking weed, it becomes a lot easier to not stay committed to working out that number of days, or sticking
Yeah.
to that diet. So not only are you breaking the weed promise, but now you're breaking the diet promise or the fitness promise.
Hmm.
And really, if you get to the root of it, it's mainly weed is what's causing all of those.
Yes, man. 100%. It's the lazy man's drug for sure. And we talked about this a lot in our coaching, how the importance of exercise, and you've really developed a good exercise routine and really working on your nutrition as well. And this is something I recommend people as well when we start coaching, is that it's really the little things that make the difference, and kind of doing everything you can to get your baseline happiness up is really going to help have the willingness to stay sober long term, right? Because for a while, especially in those withdrawal periods, you're not the most happiest. So for you, Trevor, when you emailed me and stuff, were you a little skeptical? Were you nervous about coaching? Like, what was your experience with that?
Yeah, I had never worked with a coach before, so I was a little bit, I'd say nervous, not necessarily skeptical, but nervous for sure. I had watched a lot of your videos though, so
Mhm.
I had gained a lot of value from the videos and felt like I already kind of connected with you prior, but
Cool, man.
it was definitely a little bit nervous reaching out for support. But now that I've done it, I feel like first of all, I'm very thankful that I did. And second of all, I feel like everybody should have a coach, whether it's
Hmm.
recovery related or just life in general. Having a coach is kind of a cheat code to hold yourself accountable.
Yeah, and what made having a coach like give you that level of accountability that you didn't have?
So when it's just you on your own, it's a lot easier to break your own promises, but when you have somebody that you have to come back to, now it's not just I broke my own promise, but I broke my promise to them. Um, so just the accountability of having somebody else know that, like, hey, you know, you're not the only one watching, basically. And then I think just having a second person to look at your life objectively. So you're not
Mm,
like in the middle of the storm, but they can look from outside and give you information on a little bit more level headedness for you.
sure, for sure, absolutely. Yeah, I have coaches myself for everything in my life, so I practice what I preach for sure. And yeah, just getting those different perspectives is so key, because so many times, like, I'm in my head about something, and then I'll ask them, and they'll like just very, since they don't have the emotion that I'm feeling, they can practically look at it and they're just like, yeah, like, oh, that's normal, or have you tried this? And it always is like, oh, okay, because I could never see it because I was in the thick of it, right? You're in the emotion, so you can't really think logically when the emotions are high, or at least it's very difficult. So that's awesome, man. And then what made you finally like actually pull the trigger and be like, okay, I'm gonna sign up for this?
So it really came down to that breakup. I felt like me being on marijuana was also a strong contributor to the reason why that breakup happened. So I was like extremely fed up. I was like, okay, my work, I could be doing better there. My fitness, I could be doing way better there. Now my relationship, which I valued very high, has been broken. And I think that marijuana, again, was a strong contributor to this. So
Mhm.
really, it just became down to I was fed up and I needed to make a change. And then also just really thinking about, like, man, like we talked about earlier, this is a window of opportunity that doesn't happen that often. So, like, am I going to take
Yeah.
advantage of this and make the change now? Or am I going to put it off and work on it tomorrow, like I have been the last
Mm.
several months? So it just got to the breaking point where something needed to happen and willing to do whatever necessary, really.
Nice, man. Nice. Yeah, you were fed up. You were tired of being tired. And I think that's a great motivator. I just made a video on it recently, guys. It's called right here, when you're sick and tired of being sick and tired. I recommend you guys checking this one out if you haven't already. It's a really good one to remember. Yeah, like, I think for me, a lot of my changes come as well when I've been just tired and fed up of the behavior I'm in, and I'm almost like disgusted with it. It's hard when it's like you like you're trying to quit because you know you should, versus like you actually want to. So in the past for you, I take it you tried to quit, but it was like almost like you felt guilty.
Yeah. So I had tried quitting several times, but exactly like you said, it was something that I really should be doing. It wasn't a necessity. Versus once that breakup happened, I think what also happened was a level of anger entered the equation, where now it's not just like, oh, this kind of, I should be doing this thing. Now it's like, okay, I need to be doing this thing. Like, this is not okay. And so, yeah, I got a little bit angry, and finally, like, a switch just flipped and was like, yeah, this can't continue.
Yeah, absolutely, brother. Absolutely. And you went at it. And that's why I wanted to work with you, because you had that hunger for it. So how was your experience coaching with me? Like, what would you say was your overall experience?
Definitely life changing, I would say. First of all, I successfully got off marijuana, which without coaching, I believe I was very likely to continue smoking weed for the rest of my life. So just getting off weed has been huge. Definitely changed. I mean, it's improved all other areas of my life, and it hasn't really been that long. And then outside of that, I think just having somebody, there that you can talk to has also just helped with everything, with my well-being and peace of mind. And then also just having accountability, not only with marijuana, but with everything. So now it's like, I got to show up for my workouts too. I can't just not smoke. I have to do everything right. Not right, but
Yeah.
I have to be making progress and everything. So
Yep.
accountability in all of life, not necessarily just marijuana.
For sure. For sure. Yeah, you definitely made a lot of strides in other areas. And this is what I'm glad you had a good experience first. And second, I think, I believe like this is what we work on a lot. Like usually after a while, you just stop talking about weed. Like we're working on those other things. We're working on with all clients. We start to develop those other areas of life, relationships, work, finances, like health. Those are the things that we quit weed for. So, if you guys are thinking about doing some coaching, I just want to let you know, like, we will very quickly move out of the quitting weed, right? Because you don't really, after you quit and get a few couple weeks off, you don't really want to talk about it anymore. You're like, it's like, this is like, there's nothing to talk about. So that's when we really dive into some of these other areas. And I think that's where a lot of people get, the most hope is that like I can quit and my life is actually going to get better in other areas, not just like I'm quitting to quit. And then I'm just going to hope that things turn out well. We're actually going to work on some other stuff. So let me see. Okay, there we go. So how quickly were you able to quit marijuana?
So I had tried quitting. It took a couple tries before I finally got there, but pretty much immediately, I think I did have one more time after my first meeting with Joel where I was like, okay, I'm going to have like a last supper. And then I basically had a last supper, and then it was immediately off of marijuana.
Oh, the Last Supper, bro.
Yeah.
Beautiful Last Supper. The amount of Last Suppers I've had, Jesus would be rolling in his grave.
Yeah.
That's
And
funny.
the beginning definitely was challenging. And yeah, there were a lot of dark, painful nights, but having the accountability of somebody, there with you is what really prevented me from going back and using. So really it was immediate. First call,
Nice.
pretty much.
Oh, that's
Right
awesome,
into
bro.
sobriety.
Let's go, baby. That's what we're talking about. Yeah, it's quitting. It's simple, not easy. And I think a lot of people just need that push, just someone to know that, they're in your corner. Right. And so it sounds like for you, that's all you really needed was for just to know that you weren't in it alone.
Yeah, exactly. Just somebody to keep me accountable. It was like I was ready. I'd been ready the past several months, and I would commit to it like on a very regular basis. Today is my last night smoking. But then, that next day would come around, and it was just me and my own thoughts. And then, you know what? One more day is not that big of a deal. So now that I could commit, and one day actually was a big deal because I wasn't only lying to myself, I was lying to somebody else. That was really what pushed me over the edge. And finally, it was just, okay, let's get started.
Yep. Yeah. Time to go. So in the last 30 days then, or I guess, well, you've been on this journey for a while. How has your life changed from when you were starting to where it is today?
Yeah, I've seen improvements pretty much all areas of my life. Um, First of all, career, I'm able to like focus, and my level of effort has increased significantly because my mind is sharper. I'm not dealing with brain fog for the first 2 to 3 hours of every single morning. Um, Even outside of work, one thing that's been really beneficial is that like I can really enjoy things now without feeling like, okay, is this almost done? I'm ready to go smoke. So it's like just a leash has been removed from my life, and it's really freed up my own peace of mind and confidence. I'd say I feel a lot better about myself now that I don't have this skeleton
Yeah.
in the closet that I'm hiding from everybody. My relationship with my family, I can answer the phone now past 5 p.m. So yeah, I mean, just everything's really improved. Relationships have gone up, especially with family members. Career has improved, focus and energy levels have gone up there. And then fitness, it's much easier to stick to a workout plan if you're not battling a desire to get high instead of working
Mm,
out.
yeah. I love it, bro. Love it, man. Yeah, all the things we want in life, health, wealth, and relationships, you're really improving on, and we still talk today. And I see a lot of improvements, and um, I don't think we've talked about weed. I mean, rarely any, because it's like, okay, like all these other goals you're so focused on and you're working towards. So that's really important, guys. If you're trying to get sober, to have those goals and things you're working towards that are going to keep you motivated, because when times are tough, because there will be difficult moments in this journey. It's important to tap into the why you're doing it. Why am I doing this? Friends, family, relationship, all the above. So, Trevor, if somebody's listening right now and considering taking action, why would you recommend them to take action like right now?
I would just say that there's never really going to be a perfect moment. You could do what I
Mm,
did and wait until something life changing happens, like a big breakup or something similar to that. But why wait? If you're somebody that has big goals like I did, and you've been struggling to remove the habit from your life by yourself, then I think the only way really is to take action. At least it was for me.
mhm,
I tried several more times than I can count to get sober by myself.
mhm.
And once I finally took the step to get coaching, it was done. It was over, and I didn't have to fight that battle anymore. So, if you're somebody that wants to have high ambitions and achieve a lot in life, and you're struggling to solve it on your own, then I would seek help.
Hell yeah, brother. Hell yeah, man. I think that's a great place to wrap. And want to say thanks for coming on and talking about your experience. And it's been so cool to see your journey and how much you've grown. And just know that you can do it. You can do it. You're a completely different person, and it might take a while for you to see. For if anyone's watching and you start your transformation, it won't. You might not see immediate change in yourself because you're you, but other people will be able to see that change very quickly. And so I just want to say, brother, it was great working with you, and great job at taking action and just diving into it.
Yep, I appreciate it, and it's cool to be featured on a channel that I've been watching for a long time. Happy to be here.
Awesome, brother. Appreciate it, man. So, guys, if you are looking to possibly get some results like Trevor did and really start to change your life, as always, you can book a consult with me down below in the link, and we'll hop on a 40-minute call, find out where you are in your quitting weed journey, and develop a game plan for you so you can finally quit weed for good. Because as Trevor and I both know, and it's a death by 1,000 joints. It kills you slowly. It's not a it's just interesting addiction because it's not like other, like you don't get inherently negative consequences, um, but over time it can really wear on you. And so we're here to help you the best you can, kind of start to turn your life around and get back on track to where you want to be in life. And I think, like what Trevor's been saying, sometimes it just takes asking for help and taking some massive action. So with that, guys, we'll talk to you in the next one. Once again, you hit the link down below to schedule that call, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.